It doesn't. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Welcome.
Tuesday. We all know what Tuesday means. Live video day.
Yeah.
So it's fantastic. I'm Mark Martin with the Grace Company.
I'm Carla Jerome.
And we have Nathan behind the computer. There he is.
There he is.
How's it?
Maybe I'll just kind of jump in really quick and just say, hey, everybody, again, thanks for joining us as we are all gathered together as part of, getting closer to the Fantastic Fall Festival. And maybe, Carla, Mark, if you're okay, I thought maybe I can just start really quick with some stats that I have been hearing. One, and we're going to talk a little bit more about this here in just a minute as well, on how we can sign up in order to submit your quilts, amongst a few other things with registration. But we're showing currently that I think we have just a little over 700 quilts submitted from just under 400 people. So that's pretty darn amazing. We are really excited to have everybody participating, again, recognizing, and maybe really quickly here, I'll go ahead and throw this quick screen on for everybody. And I thought maybe I can just point this out briefly right here with showing your quilt. I love the fact that with this particular show, we're really not trying to isolate anybody. We're really trying to include as many people as possible. I love the categories. Hall of Shame is one of those, unfinished projects. Love to see what those are. I know Carla over there is kind of giggling, I was talking with her the other day, and in fact, maybe Carla, just quickly tell me a little bit about what you thought about when I talked about the UFOs, your unfinished object.
Home, and I started digging through my fabric, and lo and behold, I found this unfinished quilt. I thought I'd pull it out, so I hopefully will get it done so I can show it. So it won't be in the Hall of Shame any longer.
With that, I also thought, Carla, you've had a quilt for quite some time that you said you started one of your first quilts, and I thought that was an interesting thing that came to my mind. Is that one that's a partial product, or is that quilt close to being?
That was a log cabin design, and I loved the colors of the fabrics and everything, and yeah, I just started it, and life gets in the way, and I put it aside, and I actually forgot I'd started it, so it was really fun.
With that, Mark, I'm going to ask about your quilts.
Ooh. So none, but I'm sure I can find some for my wife, who has probably quite a few unfinished and a lot finished. So I could probably dig one up for my wife.
All right, that's good. I was just joking. Now I've completed a couple. I actually have not my own personal unfinished quilt, one that I know my daughter had worked on with my mother-in-law. That's one we need to finish up. So that's something maybe we can look at doing this holiday season. And actually talking about that, my daughter, LJ, she was getting pretty excited. And I know that she met with Carla here a little bit, brought home a whole bunch of catalogs and books, and she's thinking, which one am I wanting to get into? So I think she's going to be getting into quilting, even though she hasn't had much of a chance. Starting at this a great time. She's just about 19, and she's going to be a quilter. So I'm excited to see what that and where that takes her to. So really quick, maybe just quickly going back to the screen, as you can see this. Other categories: made from scrap holiday quilts, surprised that oops, it didn't turn out the way you expected, blood, sweat, and tears, wild imagination. So another category for everything. Letting you know, anybody who enters this, we're looking at doing a couple cash prizes, and the main categories will actually be selected by yourselves and choosing your favorites. And so again, we're just really encouraging anybody who can to participate. We're excited about again, continuously bringing those. We do have a couple segments during the Fantastic Fall Festival where we will go through and we're going to talk about and look at some of those quilts that have been submitted. So again, thank you everybody who has had a chance to submit them. And we know most people that you've had multiple quilts. Again, we want to encourage you to do so. We've just been excited with such an amazing response with all this. So with that, Mark, let me kind of turn the time back over to you and Carl a little bit to talk about, again, last week's winner. Maybe we can look at pulling that up and then what that product was. Obviously, it's an exciting product. So why don't you guys share a little bit more of that?
And the winner was our hoop frame.
Right. Our nice Q-zone hoop frame.
Yeah, hoop frame that could be adjustable,
right.
Any size of quilt. You can sit, you can stand.
You could use your domestic machine.
Use your domestic machine. So there's a lot of features and options for the winner of the quilt, so or of the frame. So let's get to the winner of the hoop frame, and that is Robin. And we're probably going to butcher the last name.
Yeah,
so I'll let you try it.
Sorry, no.
We're not even going to try it.
I told Mark good luck with it. Sorry, Robin.
I'm going to try it. So Robin, is it Galapio? Is what I'm going to say. So comment if that's wrong. Yeah. So congratulations on that. We're all excited, and that's a pretty good way to kick off the live video.
You know you'll love it.
Yes, absolutely.
So with that, I thought maybe I can just bring up something, Mark and Carla, and I apologize. As we've done this, again, congratulations, Robin. We will go ahead and be emailing you. We're going to be looking to get you that Q's on hoop frame. So let me just go back. And again, as part of the Fantastic Fall Festival, we're super excited about the different gifts and the prizes that you have a chance to win. So again, go ahead and register. I'm going to quickly bring up this on my screen as one more piece. I did talk briefly about the quilt and entering to win. If you go to graceframe.com, you'll also notice that you can just go ahead and pre-register. Now, quick note is that we will have the official content that will show you more about all those who are going to be participating, the educators. We have some international, some locals, things from dealing with just experiences in general with some different educators, a doctor out there who deals with patenting in new business design. Again, a lot of different people from a lot of different walks of life, all sorts of the quilting and everything. So we're super excited to have everybody participate. But look for that page to be up here later this week. We'll send out a notification letting you know so that you can browse through that content. And again, where I was going with this, and I apologize, but I just wanted to shout out. I just thought it's amazing, the group and people from all over. I just thought we'd say hi, Shirley from Firestone, Colorado, and we have Judy from Ontario. We have individuals from California, from Michigan, Oklahoma, Oregon, several from Oregon. Sandra, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Connie Davis from Missouri, Texas. So again, I just love seeing all the different of those of you that are joining us. Please make sure to comment. Know that as we go through this today, we're looking at taking live questions. So Carla and Mark will help demonstrate, and they're going to talk through some of the details, and we're looking to answer your questions. So make sure to post those. We'd love to hear what those are to help capture and answer as many of those as we can. With that, Mark and Carla, let me go ahead and turn it over. Tell us again a little bit about what next week's giveaway is going to be and why they should be so excited about this gift and this prize, and we can go from there.
Absolutely. But before I do, Nathan, I want to build off what you said. I looked at some of the comments over here, and everybody's congratulating Robin.
Yeah.
And I have to say that is awesome in the quilting community that we have quilters who didn't win the frame, but they're still congratulating the winner. For me, my sport background, I didn't congratulate anybody if I didn't win. But that's the sport. But the quilting, I love to see the quilters congratulate the winners. So that's fantastic. And Nathan, before we do, I know that there's some couple questions on when they submit a quilt. How many times can they submit a quilt, and what's the process with that? If we can just clarify that one more time.
So good question. What we're looking for is you can, as an individual, submit as many different quilts as you would like. And I also believe we're going to let you, if you feel like there's a couple categories, you can submit it. We're really not trying to be too biased. We really are looking for people to submit as many of the projects that you either have completed. You might already maybe have potentially given something away as a gift to others that you have done that you probably have taken pictures of. So Mark, right now we're making that pretty open, that there's not necessarily a limit to part of what that is, but we are looking, and I do know that we are pinging you if it is in a category. You cannot enter it twice into a category. We do know, and we're checking that you've already entered that one in there. And I'm thinking, and I'll do some checking for next week as well, to see if it's just a limit of one quilt to a category, if you can have a quilt in multiple categories. So, but we'll come back as an answer to that one here next week, and maybe before the end of the show if I can get a few more details as we're going on. But again, submit as many of your own quilts as you would like. If you have a friend, we'd encourage you to have them register and submit theirs as well.
Fantastic. So Carla, over these live videos,
Yeah.
And keep in mind, like Nathan said, let's get those questions coming. And we will go back and answer the questions that we weren't able to get on the video. So if you're not getting answered on the video, we'll go back and get those answered. But going forward, we've done a lot of videos with our hoop frame and the domestic machines that could go on there.
Yeah, we've showed you how the domestic machine works with the foot pedal on our hoop frame, both our Hoop Frame Pro and our Q-Zone hoop frame. But this week, we get to show you some exciting news.
That's right. And what we're going to show on this video is the prize for the winner for next time.
Yes.
So this is what the prize is going to be, and it's going to be our 15R that's on our machine.
Beautiful 15R.
Yes. And again, we kept talking about the hoop frame and its versatility from domestics to mid-arm to long arm. And again, we're showing that mid-arm capability during this live video.
Right, and this arm just extended out this direction to accommodate and give you more quilting area. And we're going to show you how the machine works and fits on the frame, and yeah.
So let's just get right into it.
Okay.
Let's go over the features. This is our Qnique 15R. And what does the R stand for? And let's go over some of the other features that it has.
R stands for regulated. So it's a stitch regulated machine, and it's not at an additional cost. And you get this machine here that fits on the Q-Zone hoop frame. It's 15 inches from the back to where the needle goes down into it. So you get 15 inches of stroke. You get the screen and the dual thread tower. So, and it's very easy. Very easy. If you're concerned about going from a domestic to a long arm, this is such a simple, easy machine to use that there's not much to it. It's just a matter of threading it, pulling your threads up, and starting with pushing the buttons. So rather than using the foot pedal, because it's stitch regulated, I just push the button and start moving. And it's as easy as that. And because it's stitch regulated, it's going to keep my stitches nice and consistent. And I'll just turn it off right here and talk about more of the features.
So Carla, what I love what you just said was how basically it is easy from transition from the domestic to the mid-arm, right? I have to tell you too, and you know this, but the 15R, that's our #1 selling machine.
Yes, it is.
It's #1 for many reasons, but one, it's not scary, right? And we talked about it in the past videos where you're going from your machine that you know how to work, you've been using it for years, to something that you're not so used to using. That transition can be a little scary.
It can be very intimidating because you're not sure what buttons to use, and also you're not sure about your quilting capabilities, and it just makes it that much easier because it glides across your fabric with the wheels and everything. So it's just so smooth and so easy to use that you won't be intimidated.
Absolutely. And with that, we wanted to make sure that the transition from our buttons on the handlebars to maintaining the machine, to threading the machine, to oiling the machine, anything that basically you need to do to make sure your machine is running at top notch is easily done by you, the user, without any really, you don't need a manual open every time. Once you do it once, it's a really simple process. But our 15-inch machine has been the best-selling machine. So let's talk about some of these features. Let's go over the screen, for example. So the screen, it is a OLED screen.
Right.
And what I like to call it is more informational. So it reads out the output of what the machine or what you're doing. So let's kind of go over what that means, Carla.
This tells you what mode that you're in, and this is regulated precise. And what's nice about the 15-inch machine is that you get more than one mode of quilting. So you get regulated precise, which when you stop, the machine stops. And then until you start moving again, it won't start, the needle won't go up and down. So that's regulated precise. And also on the screen, it shows you the stitches per inch. That's the SPI. And it shows you the position of the needle, if it's going to stay up or down. So yeah, so it's very informational.
Exactly. And with that precise mode, and we talked about the 4 different modes, those, because it's not a touchscreen, they could all be done by the handlebar presses, right?
So you just push your button and you use your buttons to scroll through the screen. So now we're in regulated cruise mode. regulated cruise, the needle is just going to keep going up and down, even if you've stopped.
And why is that so important? You know, with precise, going back to the precise, so you mentioned as we're quilting, you're starting the machine.
Mhm.
It doesn't do anything until you physically move it.
Right.
Now cruise, you press on the button and it toggles up and down.
Right.
What is the benefit of that?
Oh, it makes you, gives you a more rounded stitch. If you're quilting loops or stippling, gives you nice curves because it gives you those extra stitches in those curves. And so it's a great mode of quilting when you're using just loops or circles or something like that.
Perfect. And then we also have?
Okay. We have based and then also manual mode.
And manual mode, I keep saying this over because it's true. Carla loves manual mode.
I do love manual mode. And it takes it out of stitch regulation, so it's a lot more like when you're using your home domestic machine because you don't have regulation with that. So when you put it in manual mode, you're in charge of how fast you'll move it and your stitch length. But what's nice is that you can choose the mode of stitch that you like, and you can even have it stitch faster, or you can have it stitch slower.
Perfect. Before we get going on, let's get to some questions. Cindy, I've only had my Qnique and 15R for less than a year. Can I submit quilts made prior to my 15R?
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, submit all you want. Submit, right? Yeah, good question. Do we have any other questions before we continue to move on? Let's see, the 15R is awesome. Thank you, Janice. You know, the stitch regulation.
Yeah, the stitch regulation is very, very nice. Yeah, so no matter how fast you're moving it, yeah, you'll get that consistent stitch.
Perfect. And Lynn, I do plan to own a long arm someday. And I think that one is what a lot of people say, right? Someday. And I'm sure right now everybody has known about our October promotion. That someday can come very quickly at a great price. And having the mid arm is perfect transition.
Absolutely, yes.
So that someday, Lynn, that's going to come quick.
Check out the pricing right now. Give us a call.
Yes. Do we have any other questions? And thank you for all the questions too. It's nice to have the interaction with the user. So appreciate all the questions. We'll go ahead and look at a couple of things here, but let's get back to Nathan has a couple of thoughts.
Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate that, Mark. One thing that makes me think about as well is, you know, the prize that was this week. And I think a lot of people to say this, you know, one is you might be thinking, hey, I'm a little restricted potentially in the space. I think usually there's two big questions that always come up. And I know that what we're demoing today, and you guys can talk a little bit more about, and I think you've shared this, but I don't know if they're putting two and two together, meaning, you know, if you're space limited, we've created this Q zone hoop frame specifically so that you can do any size quilt regardless of the space. Now, I always joke, and I know I threw this out a little bit earlier on another event that we had with Carlin, and we always joke that you don't have to get rid of your dining room table anymore. You know, you can just get rid of your husband's recliner, and then everybody freaks out, says, oh, they first laugh, and they're like, wait, that'd be a bad idea. So it's the size of a medium-sized desk. So you can start with your domestic machines. And, you know, Carla talks about that, you know, if you're using a machine that you're used to, that you've been you become comfortable with it, and it almost emotionally attached. We joke and say, well, if there's someone that comes up and starts messing and pushing buttons, you kind of want to swat their hands like, hey, leave my baby alone here. So obviously it's an easy thing to start with. And I thought maybe I'd just throw that out there. And I know it's not for everybody. But right now, I'll just throw this. We do have a sell on the Q-Zone hoop frames. $889 is the price here. And the $889 also is coming with a light bar, a light station that goes over that. And so that is one of the best ways to start. I know that might not work for everybody. Again, and then what's nice is then you can upgrade. So maybe Carla, Mark, you talk a little bit again about that transition between the prize winner that they won last week, and then how does that really transition into this next one, which is at 15, and then even I know you've talked briefly about the 19s as well.
As we talk about that transition, Nathan, what I also want to point out is the 15R. I know we're getting a lot of questions on a couple of things, and I just, before I go on with that, is for the new users or for those who are coming on, there are a lot of people who are wondering, you know, hooping the fabric on the frame. So we do have a video for that.
Yes.
And then we also talk about accessories. So as we transition, there are a lot of things different from just a straight stitch. You know, we have accessories that you can start using now. Most of them probably already use maybe rulers with their domestic. What I would like to do is maybe let's start from the scratch on this. You know, if we threaded the machine, what is the process of pulling the bobbin? Maybe let's pull the bobbin up and let's get going.
Let me just pull it away. And if I wanted to tie off my stitch, see, I've made a tail, and I've made a tail down underneath. And now I'm going to bring the machine back to where I stopped, and I'm going to use my needle up, needle down, and then I was pulling my bobbin thread up. Now, if you wanted to do a tie-off stitch, you could do that same stitch, the needle up, needle down in that same spot a couple of times just to tie it off. But there are multiple ways that you can use that. You can use it with a ruler foot, and all you do is change your foot here. So we have multiple feet that do different styles of quilting. We have a micro stipple foot. So if you wanted to have really a small micro stipple to highlight an applique or something, then you put that foot on, and it helps you do very small, tiny, teeny stitches for your stippling or whatever you're working on. And then, like you said, the ruler foot. And you put the ruler foot on and a ruler base, and it's just a table that goes on. And it helps you hold the ruler in place, and then you just quilt around it using the ruler. And I have actually, finished up a video with rulers and how to use them, and also with the automation as well. So
perfect. You know, we talk about the pull and the bobbin. I would say for the majority of the users and who we really focus on is the hobbyist, right? You're a hobby. This is a hobby. And for the most part, it's new. And so let's talk about the machine itself. Going back to the machine, thread cutter. The reason why we pull the bobbin up, Carla, is
it does not come with the thread cutter.
No.
So you are the thread cutter with your scissors.
And the majority of the quilters, when they're done quilting, they're going to pull the bobbin to the top anyway. Right. So pulling the bobbin to the top is a process that Carla showed.
And I'll just pull it up and now. And there's my tail. And now I can start quilting.
Perfect. So it's simple, right? On the machine itself, if you didn't notice, the left-hand big button on the left side is your needle down. And once you do that, the needle goes down, right? Pulls the bobbin up.
But you can change. If you're left-handed and you want it on this side, you can change, and it just allows you to do it very easily.
That's right. And that's something that we love to be integrating is on the machine is different things that you can't get anywhere else. And so the machine buttons, if you are left-handed, you can make your dominant side, your start-stop on your left side, while you needle up, needle down on your right side.
Right, and you can have the needle stay down in the down position or the up position.
Absolutely. All right, question, Kathy. She said, or a comment here. Yep, probably a comment. It pops up on the screen. So as soon as I see it pop on the screen, I'm thinking a question here. So Kathy commented, I also have the Q frame, and I recently purchased a continuum frame. I'm giving my daughter-in-law Q-zone frame. So
keep it going. Yeah.
Good job there, Kathy. How easy is it to
let's show you how easy
quilt?
It is to readjust it.
Right.
Do we have time? Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I finished quilting my section, and I want to shift my quilt to the next section. I just unclamp it, and I'm going to ask my beautiful assistant, Mark, to hold my clamps. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm just taking my clamps off.
And the clamps that she's taken off, we did talk about in another video exactly what they do. We talked about the ratchet system, so please watch our other video that explains these. But they are a kind of ratcheting system that only works with the hoop frame, different than a rolling rail system.
And I'm just going to shift it down to the next area. And then I'm just going to reclamp it. Now maybe I want to move it up just a little bit. I'm just showing you how easy it is. And then I'm just going to take my back clamps here and put them back on. Now usually on a quilt, see, we have a plain piece of fabric. You'll have squares or a pattern, a design that you're quilting. So it'll be a little easier to adjust it and make sure that you have it on nice and straight. And even so, yeah, don't worry about that because it's very, very easy.
And that's one of the questions that popped up the last time we did this video, right? Is how easy is it to line up the fabric?
And
just
it's
like
not
Carla
taking me
mentioned,
much time to
no.
do. If you think it's so labor intensive, it's really not. Yeah, granted, if you have a larger quilt, it's going to take you a little bit longer, but not much longer. And adjusting your straps, you get the adjustable straps. So as this gets larger, you can adjust those straps. And I'm just going to pull it down here. Let me just pull this out, this bottom one.
Yeah, very simple. And normally I like to help, but this time
It's just assisting.
I stayed in my chair here because it is easy for one person to do to hoop that fabric.
Yeah, and I actually have my bungee clamp on this side. So the bungee clamps are included. You get 4. They're for your side tension here.
Perfect.
And I'm just going to clamp it on right here.
Okay. So that is a very simple process. So Robin, the lucky winner of the hoop frame, if you have any questions about that when you get it, don't hesitate to ask. But the hoop frame is very simple, and now it's all up and running to go to your next zone or your next area. And that is a process that you would do through the entire king quilt, queen, crib, twin. And for table runners, you have something smaller, you would just use the bungees on the side to hold on your table runners if they don't float.
Oh yeah, with the longer arm or the longer throat, you won't have to do as many times. So that's the advantage of that extra little 15 inches.
All right, let's get back to the 15. But before we do, let's get a couple thoughts from Nathan. Yeah. Nathan just popped up a question. All right.
Yes, absolutely. You can use the robotics. And I love to tout that we are the only ones that make robotics to work with our hoop frame. And it is so easy and so fun. And I actually just finished up a video on how to shift and adjust your fabric, but it's so intuitive that it tells you how to do, where you need to reposition your quilt.
Absolutely.
So with that, I thought maybe I'd just add this as well. Carla, I know that you've done a couple different videos, and maybe one thing I'll throw out there to the users is there are selected domestic machines as well. We talked about this 15. We've talked about a couple key things like the stitch regulation. Certain domestic machines we also have stitch regulation for. Kind of coming to this automation, there is also automation for some of those different machines that are out there in several of the different lines. Again, I have our 800 number at the top. The biggest thing is to know if you ever have questions, feel free to just give us a call. We have a couple of our account executives. They're great at helping just to answer some questions. We really take it seriously in trying to understand what you're trying to accomplish, what you're wanting to do, and then giving you the information that will help make you let you make the best decisions with that. And I'm going to kind of just interrupt here briefly again. And I know we've talked about some of these other products. Let me just quickly bring up on screen some of the different promotions that we currently have. I thought this would be good to recap, and then we can kind of go back to Carla when we're done. Maybe have you share with us a little bit more about some of the videos you've done and the success that you've also had with automation. But really quick, I just want you to look at part of this screen right here as we're looking at this. Again, we talked about the Q-Zone hoop frame, the one that was given away today at $889 with the free light bar. We do have a different version of this frame, a slightly more upgraded version we call the Q-Zone hoop frame Pro. Just again, high level, not to spend a lot of time, but the Pro version comes with a few extra things. It comes with leader cloth. It comes with a table on the backs, and then it also comes with the same professional tracking system that we have on our Continuum frame or our Professional Series frame. So for that slight variance, you're getting a few pretty nice additional upgrades on sale for $1,189. With that, as well as we continue, we do have queen frames as well. Again, you would need to have a speed control or stitch regulation to use the larger frames with your domestic machines, but that's available along with the big Continuum. And then here's the 15s that you're demonstrating right now. This is available also. If you were to purchase a 15, we're actually including the frame for free. Your choice of a Q-Zone Queen, the Q-Zone Queen frame or the Q-Zone frame. So we have the manual machine, which is not stitch regulated. That one's at $3,499.95. We do have the one that we're demonstrating here today on sale for $4,499.95. Again, with the free frame included there. You can choose the Queen or the Q Zone frame. And then we also have the Pro 15. And there was a question earlier. Someone wanted to know, is there a difference, or what are some of those slight differences between the 15 Pro and the 15? And maybe for a quick minute, Carla and Mark, maybe just briefly give us an update on the differences. I know we don't have it out here on the floor, but maybe share some insights on that.
Absolutely. So the 15 Pro actually comes with a 3-inch touchscreen. As to the 15R that we mentioned earlier, is an OLED screen.
Larger. Yeah.
So it is larger, and it is touch. It does stitch a little faster too. It does 2,000 per minute,
Right.
whereas the 15R does 1,800. And those are really
And it's a touch screen, so
yeah.
you can change your modes. You don't have to push the buttons.
right. You can do either or too, which is nice, right?
Right.
Buttons or the touch screen. But those are the really two differences on the 15 Pro to the 15R on the machines.
Wonderful. I do know when people use it, they feel like because it's a little bit quicker, it's a little bit snappier. The machine's a little more precise because it's running a little bit higher performance. And I know there's some other presets, I believe, as well that you can set with some of your minimum crews and some of your other manual settings. Because it is touchscreen, there are some of those other functions. But go to our website, go to graceframe.com. You can look at the comparison. There is a chart that walks through those variations between these three machines. I wanted to kind of continue. We also have a 19. This machine has been incredibly successful out there in the market because it looks like it should go in, it should belong in your home. And I'm maybe going to quickly just pull that up because I think it's one of the most beautiful machines that we've created. It's a very light machine. It's actually stronger than the 15. We spent a lot of time with our engineers going through and designing a product that was a little bit more robust. Again, it has similar electronics to the 15 Pro, so it's a fast machine with some new features. It has some of the things from the 21, which are the adjustable handles, amongst others. So I just wanted to kind of briefly point that out. And let me go back here to our fall festival. So that one is coming with a free frame. That one you can get with the Q Zone Pro frame and a light bar at $6,999. You can upgrade it to also the professional frame for only $1,000 more. Last, we have our two 21-inch machines. We do have the 21 Pro and the 21 standard version. Again, those ones you can see, both of those, if you buy the machine, you're getting the free continuum frame of choice. And I guess I neglected to mention this, if you buy the 21 or the 19, we're also including a light station as well as a free premium gift with that. So those are a couple of things I just wanted to briefly touch on. And maybe, Carla, we can go back to you again. I'm going to encourage everybody to register. And I forget this one as well, but we would encourage you also to invite others to view the stream, to view information. Next week, we'll be talking a little bit more in detail about a few other things that have to do and the official launch of the Fantastic Fall Festival with bringing some educators amongst more on. But Carla, share with us a little bit about your experience again on using the automated system as you've done so with the Q Zone frame itself.
Well, first, because I've been used to using the automation on our regular rolling frames, I was a little intimidated. I have to say, it seemed a little daunting and a little scary that how am I going to line up so that I'm shifting the quilt correctly. But the automation actually did it for me. It tells me, it moves the machine to where you're supposed to move your fabric, and it's just so intuitive. So don't be fooled or don't be afraid to jump in and start using the automation because it is so fun. And it's another level of quilting that you can just add so much to use, and you can purchase designs, you can create your own designs with the Pro version. We've got the beginnings package, which doesn't give you all the bells and whistles, but it's a good start to using the automation. So call us, check it out, and we can answer all those questions because I see some questions about the automation and we'd love to talk to you one-on-one.
Perfect. For me, the robotic, Carla, when you're talking about it, it is that other level and it's not a scary another level.
No,
it's a
not.
Easy another level.
Yes,
and it's
it
just
is.
another accessory that you can add on to any of our machines. So that's fantastic. Getting back to the 15R, the star of the show.
Yes.
Our best-selling machine for many reasons, but it's easy to take care of, easy to maintain, easy to use. That transition period, there's really little to no training when it comes to free motion. There's some keys, there's some tricks, but other than that, it's really what comes to your mind as a quilter to be able to produce from your mind onto the quilt.
Yeah, it's just easy. Well, let me turn it on one last little time so you can see. I'm just going to bring my bottom thread up because we moved it to a new area. And I'm just going to show you just the push of a button. And you could be quilting and have the time of your life. You're going to love this machine. That little beep is the overspeed. You can turn that off. But see how far I can quilt? That's what makes it so much fun.
Absolutely. 15R, easy, it's fun, not much to be done. The oiling, the instructions have really good instructions on making sure that we oil it and maintain it. But that process has been easy for all the customers who bought it, and that's why they continue to buy it.
Right, and there's a question from Connie. She says, I already have the Q-Zone frame. Would I be able to purchase the 15R at a reduced price? Because I already have the frame. Mr. Salesman?
Yeah. Yeah, why not? Not going to say no to that one. So Connie,
give us a call, Connie. Yeah, let us talk to you. Yeah.
Yep. Call, and then Connie, if you're in an area where our dealer is located, check out our dealer locator, and we'll make sure either our dealers, if you're in the area with the dealer, can take care of you, or give us a call directly and we'll see what we can do for you. All right. Any other questions? Okay. A green only machine is a snap. Janice, you're right. And that again is what keeps the machine going. We wanted as a users who buy our product, the hobbyist, the enthusiast, we know that transition, again, I keep saying that word because it is a transition from what you've already been accustomed doing with your smaller machine to the 15. To take that scary moment out or the intimidation moment out, the machine is very easy to operate.
Yeah, and for oiling the machine, oil your hook assembly where you put the bobbin case in there. Yeah, often, very often.
Absolutely. All right, let's go back over to Nathan with a couple other thoughts.
Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it. I just thought maybe here, as we kind of wrap up, I wanted to throw a couple things. I know some people are looking at maintenance. I wanted to share a little bit just again about Grace Company, just to put that out there for everybody. We've been around for a little over 35 years. A fantastic history, starting with hand quilting frames, moved into creating what I like to call consumerizing professional goods and taking and letting you use your domestic machine. As we moved through part of the hand quilting and hooping to the quilting tables that let you use your domestic machine, we ended up moving into the machines as a whole. And as we've continued to design products like this machine, we wanted to make sure that they were going to last you your lifetime. And so one of the questions I think that comes up with oiling is timing, or how often or whatnot. And I love to share that there are a couple simple pieces we do, but internal to the machine, they're actually sealed bearings. So there isn't a maintenance schedule that says, hey, after so many hours of running this or so many stitches, this machine has to be opened and cleaned or checked again. We've made sure that all those key components are sealed and oiled for the life of the machine. On the front, I like to bring this up. There is a spot where the needle bar is. We would talk about oiling that and putting a drop about every 5 projects. And then underneath, the part that moves most is the bobbin assembly. And we like to talk about every 3 to 5 bobbins, you're going to put a drop of oil to keep those engaged and working well. Again, everything, we have videos on all of this. We do have a quick start guide that comes with each machine that does talk about the how-tos and the how-oftens. Anything from simple things like threading the machine to the buttons and the functions on the handles and setting and choosing your preferences with those. So again, I just wanted to kind of say as we kind of get ready to conclude part of this again, we'll see if there's a couple last questions we'd like to answer, and then we'll encourage everybody again to see about registering if you haven't already for the Fantastic Fall Festival, amongst more. But let's go back, Mark and Carl, and see what we might have out there.
Absolutely. And yeah, before we get to those questions, I would also comment, Nathan, on the registration Fall Festival. Please do so. I also noticed that there are a lot of comments of either someone who already owns a machine or some of our products. There are many accessories, so please look at the accessories from the ruler base to the laser to pattern perfect basic set to get pantographs to our famous hopping feet, automation, our quilt motion. So if you already have some of our product, then go ahead and go online and look to see what accessories that you've been wanting to see what we can do to help you. And if you're close to a dealer, contact your local dealer too if you've already purchased from them, to see what they have as well. So let's get over to Kathy.
Absolutely, it can work with your next generation. So Kathy Dyers asked, can the robotics work on a next generation frame with my Unique 15 Pro? Yes, absolutely.
Let's maybe quickly touch upon that. What's nice is about the Grace Company is the growth with our customers, meaning if they have a previous frame, most of our previous frames will work with our machines, as well with our automation, and most of our accessories. So if you have a previous frame or a newer frame, then yes, absolutely to that question. Any other questions? No other questions. All right.
I thought maybe just really quick, I'll bring this on screen since we're getting several different questions. Again, I would encourage you to contact our team here. You can call your local dealer as well. They'll have answers to assist you with this. But I didn't quite show you the last piece here, is that the automation is also on sale. So it's a great time to buy the automation. If you've thought about it in the past, a great time to add that to your system as part of that piece. Again, as we're kind of concluding here, I want to just encourage everybody to sign up if you haven't, submit your quilts if you haven't, and join us again next week as we come back together and launch the entire Fantastic Fall Festival with a whole day of streaming goods. And I know that a lot of you are probably going to be busy on and off through that, and we're going to keep a lot of those processes that we end up recording or that we have videos on so that you can access those later as well, so you don't have to be too worried. But again, join us live because we're going to do some additional giveaways throughout the day as we go, along with some different live events, along with some other experiences we're going to be able to have. So from us here at Grace Company, for myself, I want to say thank you very much for joining us, and Mark and Carla.
Much as well. We appreciate all the questions, your eyes, your comments. So thank you. It's good to have this done.
Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
See ya.
See you next week.